Okay, that's the first thing that we need to do. My name is Gwen and I'm your speaking examiner today. Can you tell me your full name, please?
My full name is Hoàng Đức Tiến.
And what should I call you?
You can call me Tiến.
Okay, hold on just a moment. I need to do something with this. All right, I need to click record. I think this is the one. Okay, then. In the first part of the test, I'd like to ask you a few questions about yourself. Let's talk about your hometown. Where do you come from?
Well, I come from Hải Phòng City, which is a city in the northern region of Vietnam, and our city boasts itself for its huge amount numbers of ports, and it is considered one of the most developed cities in Vietnam.
Have there been lots of changes in your hometown?
Well, not that I really care about those changes, but I assume that there are more estates projects in my cities. I mean, the region that I live in is quite, how could I put it? It's not that developed compared to the rest of the cities, but now there are numerous projects that plan to uh, upgrade the urban infrastructure in my area. So I guess there are a lot of people flocking to my city to live on that sort of things.
Hmm. Um, let's move on. Let's talk about plants. When you were younger, did you grow any plants?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, when I was young, my main priority was just to focus on my study, and my parents mostly didn't allow me. I mean, they still now don't allow me to have any real hobbies. So at my age, I just spent the majority of my time on online video or play games with my friends. And unfortunately, I do not have that kind of habit of growing plants.
Hmm. Well, then, are there plants in your apartment or house?
Mm, there would be a lot. Yeah. Um, I don't recall any plants near the road to my house, but there is one in front of my school. So, and my school is just a stone's throw away from my house. So I guess there's a lot. Yeah, I'm not sure about it.
In the future, do you want to have your own gardens?
Mm, I don't actually. I find gardening quite boring, and having to take care of many trees really takes a lot of my time. I'm just quite now busy with my workload and as well my studies at school. So I can't imagine myself having the spare time to do any of those gardening stuff.
Let's continue. Let's talk about keys. When was the last time you lost your keys?
Mm, I don't know, maybe many moons ago. I mean, there was one time, but I don't actually recall the exact time. I forgot my key at my home, and then the key to my apartment in Hanoi, and my hometown is Hải Phòng. So when I arrived in front of my front door of my apartment, I realized that I forgot my key, and I had to call my parents to ship to deliver the key to me in just 2 hours. And then at that time, I had to spend like about 2 or 3 hours at a coffee shop near my apartment just to have the deliverer deliver the key to me and open the door. Yeah.
Thank you. In the next part of the test, I'm going to give you a topic. You have 1 minute to make some notes, and then you can speak about this topic between 1 and 2 minutes. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, I need to click share screen. Right, I think this is the one. Can you see it?
Yes.
I'd like you to describe a toy you often played with as a child. You have 1 minute first. Okay. Remember, you can speak about this topic between 1 and 2 minutes, and don't worry if I stop you. You should start speaking now, please.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you about a toy that essentially defined my childhood. It was actually a cheap knockoff version of Lego. Lego, the brand of blocks and bricks that children often play with to build their own imaginative stuff. Yeah, and the reason why I had to buy those knockoff versions of this popular brand of toy was that my parents did not have the fortune to buy it. So we just shopped around some second-hand stores around my house and just went with the flow. I think I got this toy when I was about 6 or 7 years old, when the Lego toys were all the rage. I mean, the toy itself was made from China, and it was just some kind of cheap plastic bricks, some windows, or some characters that came with absolutely no manual instructions, unlike the real versions of the toys. So, I think at that time, my parents just bought me the toy to let me have something to do completely by myself and not disturb them with their work. So I just spent my afternoon alone in the living room for many hours on end and just completely immersed myself in my own little world. I at that time built many things that weren't considered very normal. Like I built some weird spaceships or some kinds of bridges that cannot connect anything. So but when we have family gatherings, I had to share my toys with my cousins, and I remember myself being extremely.
Thank you, thank you. So, you have been talking about a toy that you often played with as a child, a knockoff version of Lego. All right, well then, were Lego pieces popular when you were younger?
Yeah, I remember they were extremely popular. I mean, they are the main topic that children often discuss with each other during break times at my school.
Okay. In the next part of the test, I'd like to discuss with you one or two general questions related to what you have been talking about. Let's first consider toys. What kinds of toys are popular here in Vietnam?
Mm, well, now that I'm adult, I don't actually know anything about the popular kinds of toys here in my country. But if I have to guess, I would say Legos because they are still the most popular brand of toy in the world. And I guess that whenever I come to the toy store, I can see numerous versions of Lego toys on the shelves, and a lot of parents buy these kind of toys for their children.
Thank you. And
Um,
when it comes to buying toys, do you think that parents should pick out the toys for their children or let the kids make their own decisions?
I think it would kind of depend on the situation itself. I mean, if the child is very young and just pester their parents on their favorite toy, then I think sure, let the kids have their own toy. But in some cases, when the parents are choosing something to buy for their children, so I think the main person who make the decisions would be the parents, since it would be a surprise for the kids and they don't want the children to be involved in the toy picking decision making.
Well, some people say that toys are often not educational. Do you agree with that?
Mm, I couldn't disagree more. I
Hmm.
mean, the toy itself are a source of imagination for the children. So take the Barbie dolls, like for instance, those kind of toys are a perfect example of how the girls would imagine themselves in the future. And by customizing the dresses, or I would say doing some makeup on the toys, the children can learn how to imitate those kinds of behaviors in their future. Or for boys, there are many robots or high-tech toys that they can play with, and those toys can serve a purpose of letting them discover the kind of technology that they can employ in the future.
Do you think that it's necessary for parents to only pick educational toys for their kids?
I don't think so, because at the end of the day, the main purpose of toys is to let children have fun and to relax. So only picking educational toys would kind of compromise the toy's original purpose. And I think there should be a in between these kinds of toys so that the children can also learn something from playing with their favorite toys and also having the time to let the hair down or just to unwind after studying.
Thank you. Let's talk about the toy market. Um, what sort of influence do you think that companies that make toys have on our society?
Mm, well, I'm no expert on this, but I think there's some kind of hidden psychological impacts that these kinds of company can have on society. I mean, it's not very easy to put it, but I think that to some extent, these kind of companies kind of brainwashed, I'm not sure that's the correct word, the children into buying the toys, and also the kids will put pressure on their parents to buy them those toys. And take for instance the Labubu toys. Yeah, there was once a very hot trend in the world, and the younger children often buy force their parents to buy this kind of toy, so that they can have something to brag with their friends. But those kinds of toys are extremely expensive to the point that they can cost an average family half of their monthly wages.
Yeah.
So,
Well then, how do these companies, the companies that make and sell toys, often promote their products?
mm, I think mainly through advertisements.
Mm.
They're one of the most popular means right now. And I think advertisements on TV as well as on social media can get to a wider audience as well as reach the targeted audience of children.
Thank you.
And
Do you
they
think that it's ethical for companies to target children?
often, well, I'm gonna say that it's unethical to some extent because there are still companies that advertise in the right way, but oftentimes the toys industry often promotes their toys, their products with colorful images or many kind of hot trends, and those kind of things can be irresistible to the children, and they intentionally do this so that the children would want to buy the toy and then force their parents to buy them the toys. But at the same time, there are many toys that are intended for adults. Yeah, and those
Thank you.
kinds of
That should be it. Let's have a look. Okay, then. I would say that in part one, you had a good run, but then you made a few mistakes. In part two, um, I distinctly remember that you said that certain toys were made from China. In China would be much better because if you say made from China, essentially you're implying that these toys were made of ceramics. That's another
uh,
word for China for
yeah, yeah, yeah.
ceramics. Um, and and then right after saying that the toys were from China, you said that these were made of plastic, cheap plastic, right? So that particular mistake was pretty notable. But we're going to focus on now. You get to pick which part do you want to focus on.
uh, Maybe part three.
Okay,
I
fine,
think they were all horrible. So you can no, no, no. Just part three, please.
sure. Just a moment. Can you see it?
Yes. Uh, Children in you see numerous versions of Lego toys on the shelves, and
I personally would not advise you to repeat what you have already said. I mean, you did
mm,
deliver a very nice description with a few errors here and there of Lego pieces, right? So, you could have just said, well, I feel like Lego is still all the rage now. I don't think that it can ever, you know, be out of style. Lots of kids still play, with Lego sets, so I assume that it's still like top of the list, right? And then you move on with another kind of toys. Okay. What other kinds of toys can you talk about? Perhaps instead of Lego, you can talk about like um essentially toys with the same concept but made of, I guess, different materials. Nowadays, there are lots of paper puzzles, or not paper, but it's like these pieces are made of a particular type of rubber. Maybe not rubber. I can't seem to like pinpoint the material. Perhaps wooden pieces, and then after connecting them together, you actually get like a 3D shapes, like a house or a restaurant. And if you buy really fancy collections, there are also some mechanics involved. So you get like moving parts, and in fact, you might get some sound effect as well. But of course, these sets are really expensive. Like they cost an arm and a leg, and only like rich kids would play with them, or adults that have already had their own job. They can like splurge on these toy sets as well, right? Action figures would also be a
mm,
really good example. And when you talk about action figures, you can talk about superheroes, and you can talk about action figures of very well-known characters in like mainstream media, like Superman, Wonder Woman, and all kinds of like fantasy battles that you can do with these figures in your hands, right? But try to think more of these toys. Or maybe you don't even need like a full-blown toys. Perhaps just toys that teach kids about letters and shapes, right? They are of course made of very durable plastic, and they're often sold by actually multiple sources. Big stores offer them as well, and of course, the price is really high. And you can also order, these sets of toys from online shops where you can get all kinds of discounts, right? Try to, how should I say this? I don't want to encourage you to, go off on a tangent and talk about things that are not super specific, um, things that are not like related to toys, but there are different ways to handle that type of questions. And unfortunately, you chose a rather inappropriate method, in my opinion. Mm.
Parents make this kind of choice for their children.
Thank you. And when it comes to buying toys, do you think that parents should pick out the toys for their children or let the kids make their own decisions?
I think it would kind of depend on the situation itself. I mean, if the child is very young and they show their parents on their favorite toy, and I think sure the kids have their own toy. But in some cases, when the parents are choosing something to buy for their children, so I think the main
So, that was an awkward linking word.
person would make the decisions would be
Hmm. Parents, not person. Parents, you have to say, would be the one to call the shot, right? Or the people who get to make the decision, right?
parents, since it would be a surprise for the kids, and I don't want the children to be involved in the my thinking decision making.
As you can tell from the look on my face, I was trying to like put two and two together at the back of my mind. I felt like um your reasoning was fine, but you missed the mark in terms of giving examples. You could have just said that, well, when parents buy gifts for their children, especially on birthdays or, as a present for their good academic results at school, then I think that, the parents need to, do the shopping on their own. They should probably, gauge what type of toys that kids might like beforehand, right? So that they can, choose something that their kids would really appreciate, right? Oh,
Mm.
well, some people say that toys are often not educational. Do you agree with that?
And I couldn't disagree more.
Hmm.
I mean, story itself source of imagination for the children. So
Does the toys itself, hmm,
sounds
the toys themselves are
yeah,
a source of imagination?
the Barbie dolls, for instance,
Take the Barbie doll. Oh, I think that it's better for you to say the Barbie doll, as in the singular form. Take the Barbie doll or take Barbie dolls, right?
those kind of toys are an example of how the
Are perfect. Perfect what?
example,
No, perfect examples.
yeah, examples, yeah. Just imagine himself in a pastel and like customizing the dresses or say doing some makeup on the toys. The children can learn how to imitate those kinds of behaviors in
What kind of behavior?
those kinds of behaviors.
What kinds? I have no idea what you
Uh,
refer to.
the actions previously, uh, put on makeup, try on dresses.
These are behaviors. These are actions.
Uh, okay,
It's better for you to just rephrase it, but in a perhaps more general way. Like for instance, by dressing their Barbie dolls, they might learn a thing or two about how to mix and match clothing items. And if they get to paint on the face of their dolls, perhaps somewhere down the line they'll learn how to paint on their faces as well. Like kids are very creative, but they need to learn how to like balance all the colors and also all the shapes. Sometimes they go a bit too far with the eyeliner, and when they practice these skills with the dolls, perhaps when they grow up, they'll be able to apply more sensible makeup. You understand? That's the kind of flexibility that I'm after when it comes to band 8, and also the level of accuracy that I want to hear. Okay. That's all the time that we have for today. But um, I think that you can, watch this video again on YouTube and perhaps
not on
correct the
Facebook.
mistakes. Huh?
Please, not on Facebook. I feel embarrassed when you post my video last time.
Oh, okay, then I'll delete it then. Um,
No, 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 not really. Just blur my name so that my friends don't know that it's me.
you're not the only Đức Tiền in Vietnam, you know that, right?
Right, but they know that that Đức Tiến is me because whenever my friend asks me for someone to teach them, then I would suggest you.
Ah, okay, then I'll delete the damn post. Look,
No,
have the I don't have the technology to, blur
okay.
out your name. So I'll not post the video on Facebook per your request. But
Mm,
what I'm saying is that like when you listen to these videos again or watch them, what you need to pay attention to is improving your accuracy. And it can be quite an arduous journey because as you can tell, just because I'm asking you, you were having like one-on-one sessions here, right? You get like 15 minutes of speaking. In fact, we can do 30 minutes if you want, but it's not always just about how much speaking you get to do, but more like, okay, how much guided practice you get to have. I'm giving you some sort of guidance here, and the ball is in your court. It sounds like I'm being really irresponsible here. I'm not correcting all the mistakes. But what's the point of going through all these mistakes? I feel like you're not going to even remember the five that I have already mentioned. I remember what you need to work on, but do you? That's the real
yes.
question. It's not something that you can like answer me right now because you have to show me that you remember what you need to work on and then display your results. It's
Mm,
pointless to
okay.
say, oh, I remember you telling me that I need to say good examples when, when I ask you another question, you still say they are good example, right? There's no point saying that I remember your notes when you fail to translate that into something that is, tangible and audible.
Mhm.
You understand? So that's
Yes.
that's the thing about like speaking and the illusion of like having lots of practice. I mean, I can point out all kinds of mistakes. I can dissect my own videos and point out 10,000 mistakes. You understand? Like I'm not that perfect, so I know where I'm at in terms of my speaking ability. But I guess I'm different from you in terms of the ability to just nitpick my own answers and improve accordingly, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I want that for you as well. And unfortunately, this is the area where you're gonna have to, take charge and, do things on your own with my guidance, right? So for instance, you have learned that, okay, perhaps in the first question in speaking parts where you should not repeat what you have already said if you're gonna do that, you're gonna do it gracefully instead of repeating like a robot. Like I know that you think that you know a thing or two about Lego sets. Can you talk about other things? That's the question, right? And take
Mm,
it from me. I mean, I've done the test more than a few times, and I can confirm with you that there's nothing wrong with repeating, but you have to do it in a very graceful way. And then you move on with something else. Don't go back and forth about repeating what you have already said because the examiner, I do have to say that not all of them are going to listen to you tentatively. You understand?
mm-hmm.
That
Yes.
sometimes they're just gonna let you roam free for a while and then reel you in with a really hard question. And unfortunately, that question somehow forces you to talk about what you have already said. Now, if you go down the path of, well, I have already mentioned this point, so I'm not gonna say it no more, then look, you're gonna do yourself a disservice. You understand? That's what happens in the
Yes.
exam room. And that's why, like when you do the test, you should not repeat yourself. Okay, you need
Mm-hmm.
to like if you want to talk about Legos, fine. Just perhaps talk about it in one or two sentences, and then you move on with something else, perhaps something similar to Legos, but made from a different material, like wooden pieces, right? And then you can talk more about other toys. You don't really need to like go into the technical details of these toys. You can talk about the fact that they're super colorful. You can also talk about the fact that they're made primarily in Germany or Japan, right? I don't know, I don't care. You can talk about the fact that like you can buy these toys from multiple outlets. Right? You can visit like brick and mortar stores. That's where you drag in vocabulary from other topics while still maintaining the link with the topic of toys. Understand? If you focus excessively on the technical nature of toys, then as you can already tell, like your back will be against the wall soon enough, right? But that's the first thing. And then there are all other there are other errors that you need to pay attention to. And I told you this before, like when we like in the first half of the course, you did what we were supposed to do, right? You focused on extending your answers, you changed your rhythm a little bit, you talked a bit more, and you were able to incorporate more vocabulary items and grammar structures and whatnot. But now it's down to your accuracy. So focus on examples, right? The toys themselves. Understand? These
Yeah.
are minor errors that are gonna gradually eat away your overall results. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, like I can only give you some sort of guidance because I can correct 10,000 mistakes. But if you yourself are not willing to, just put your foot down and say, look, I'm gonna fix this mess, there's no hope. You know that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
watch the video again. I've already given you some guidance. Next time, at the very least, I expect you to say, if you do use the phrase good examples, I expect to hear an S at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all for today then. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.